In October, okay, because baby, bottom of the deck we got the Six of Wands. Okay, we got the Six of Wands. In October, direct the energy. Pick it up. Try it again. Do it over. But do it more intentionally this time. Do it without this nagging, probably overstimulated thought of, how am I going to do this? How am I going to accomplish this? How am I going to get this done? Have direction, yes. But in terms of, like the book said, if your dreams, I feel like I have, this is why I hate sticky lip gloss. Anyway, if your dreams and your aspirations don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. I'm going to say that again. If your dreams, your creativity, your aspirations do not scare you, you are not dreaming, thinking, or achieving big enough. I could use myself as an example, as per usual. This iteration of Foolish 3 that I'm writing, terrifying. Terrifying. Writing the first book didn't even scare me this bad. But I'm better as an author now, right? I am, this would put me 3 books in. I'm also not the person that I was when I wrote Foolish, the first book. When I wrote the first Foolish, I was going through my Saturn return. We are, what, 7 years post that, just about? You feel me? So, like, I'm a different person. And writing this book terrifies me because it requires a different version of me, a version that I'm still getting to know. But that doesn't mean that I have to cast that to the side and be like, oh, I'll get to that when I'm the person that I need to be. No, I'm going to get to it now while I am becoming. Like the book said, there is no end destination. We are constantly evolving, we are constantly becoming. Even once we transition from these physical bodies, we are still on a journey of becoming in spirit, right? So there's never a point where you should, in my eyes, unless you just hit a hard dead end, that you should ever stop trying to do anything. And your cousin too, rolling down the strip on gold, coming up slamming Cadillac doors. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am Becca, and welcome to Creative Divinations, where I divine for the creative in you. This is a very, very special Creative Divinations. We are in Hoodoo Heritage Month. If you're not familiar with what Hoodoo Heritage Month is, I have a video that will be going up that you'll be able to click right here and check out. That will be going in depth about what Hoodoo Heritage Month is. But for those of you who are already aware and celebrate, happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. And I hope you have the most exquisite Hoodoo Heritage Month that you have had thus far. We are getting right into this divination. And the overlying energy that we have is cosmic dreaming, okay? Cosmic dreaming self. If your dreams, visions, and aspirations don't scare you, then they aren't big enough. Our visions are gifted to us from the cosmos. They already exist in the universe long before we materialize them. See with your spirit, lead with your heart, and execute with your head. Something special happens in the universe when you say yes. Okay? Other meanings of this card say, stop offending the universe by playing small. Pay attention to your dreams, jot them down in a dream journal, and revisit them later. Learn your dream language, decode and embed messages. Now is the time to entertain your imagination. Tap into your inner child for support. It may be a good time to study your astrological natal chart, learn what planetary energies are working with you, and how you can better work with them. Dig deeper questions, and I'm going to start posting these downstairs in the description box because I think they're very good, like, journal prompt questions, right? It says, in which ways do you sabotage yourself and your ideas before giving them a chance to blossom? Do you allow your fears, anxiety, and pessimism to talk you out of pursuing your goals? Do you allow your imagination to run wild, or is your vision limited by what your eyes can see? Spirit is also telling me to read Journey, so I'm going to read that as well. Journey says, life is a journey. Life is a highway. I wanna ride it. Oh, I'm sorry. Life is a journey. You will experience smooth roads and you will experience rocky roads. You will experience ups and you will experience downs. This is a part of the process. Be mindful of putting the objective over the process. You must not rush the process. Being present in the now is the greatest gift you can hold as you journey through this life. There is no real destination to get to. You are ever evolving and growing, and these things are infinite processes. Other meanings of this card: journey and travel awaits you in the near future. Communications, messages, and guidance from higher sources can be readily available to you via travel and spiritual travel. Embody the energy of exploration. Don't be afraid to travel in unfamiliar territory. Learning awaits. Dig deeper questions. While on your journey, do you pay attention to the subtleties or hidden gems, or are you distracted by the end goal? How can you be more mindful and perceptive in recognizing the lessons and blessings you receive? In what ways are you or are you not holding space for yourself to learn, apply, and grow? Well, child, we are off to a doozy. I haven't even pulled no gosh darn supporting cards yet, and I feel like that's the reading, Jesus. But I feel like that's also a beautiful way for us to start our October, for us to start our Hoodoo Heritage Month, and asking yourself in this place, especially as creatives, you feel me? Because y'all know that thing we do. Y'all know that thing we do. We get this big old grand idea, and then we be like, after we get excited about it, by the way, and then we be like, I don't know though. Like, who am I? Who am me? Who is we to pull this off? When whole time it wouldn't have been given to you if you were not capable. Okay? And it would not have been given to you if you didn't have or would stand to have all the things that you need to bring this thing to life, you know? And so I feel like because of that, because a lot of us may feel inadequate, because a lot of us may feel like we don't know as much as we think that we should know about whatever, we think that we are not capable of dreaming big. We're not capable of having these grandiose dreams that we have come true. And baby, as someone who has done it several times over, let me just tell you it is possible. Okay? Let's pull some cards and get into this divination. Okay, Spirit, what is the message for the Creative Collective for the month of October 2025? I was about to say 2024. Like, I caught myself, like, right at the cusp of about to say that. So, for some of you, October of 2024 could have held some type of significance for you. Take it how it resonates. If it don't, y'all know what to do with it. Spirit, what is the message for thank you? Another one, thank you. Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords, and she is in the reverse. The only way I like to see her, okay? But we have the Nine of Swords reversed as the first tarot card out. And this is my, like, worry not card. It reminds... I don't know why I just heard, first off, y'all know me. I'm a churchy hoodoo, so 9 times out of 10, when I be having songs and things in my head, it be of the gospel persuasion. And when I pulled that card, and as I started to speak, I thought about Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers. And it was supposed to be their farewell album. I don't know if they put more music out after this, something's telling me that they might have. Not the point, girl. Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers, who are a very, very prominent group in gospel music, had this farewell album they did, and one of the songs that they did was called, I think it was Matthew 28, and there's a part of it where you're like, fear not, and that's what I just heard, like, in a very resounding way. So this is, again, like, my fear not part. Like, I feel like, because I keep looking at this journey card, I feel like a lot of, and again, take it how it resonates. Y'all know I speak from the experiences that I have in the hope that y'all be able to relate. But I feel like a lot of us could be being very reflective right now, you feel me? And the reason that I bring that up is because I feel like sometimes when we reflect on things, as they pertain to what we have going on right now, in this current moment, in this current season, right? I feel like another big part of the reason why it may be hard, why it may be hard for us to see this cosmic dream, for us to dream bigger, for us to be comfortable with knowing that whatever has been put on us, on our hearts, in our minds to do, that we are able to do it, is because of how things have turned out before. Y'all know how I feel about that. You feel me? And again, I've been guilty of it too. Okay, I am no stranger to being like, oh, well, I tried to do it and it didn't work, so why would I try to do it again? Imagine if whoever, praise Jesus, whoever created the initial recipe for oxtails messed the recipe up and didn't try to recreate it. Where would we be as a people? You know, like, think about things like that. What is not clicking? Okay, what is not clicking to you? Like, but seriously though, like, I feel like because of the way that things have maybe not worked out in the past, we get this idea that, like, our journey was supposed to stop there, and sometimes it do be that, you know. But more often than not, it's not a no, it's a maybe not right now, or a delay is not a denial. It's just you need to wait a little bit, configure some things, live a little bit more life, right? Um, our First off, I'm cutting my nails down. My next nail appointment. And don't get me wrong, I love my nails because these again are my natural nails. These are mine. They're all me. You feel me? Um, but when they get this long, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate my Carolina curve. Okay, she natural, but picking things up. Okay. Next up, we have the Hangman, and it's also in the reverse. At first, I was like, "Is the deck upside down? Why are all these cards coming out reversed?" But I feel like for the cards that have come out reversed thus far, um, especially the Fear Not Nine of Swords being here with the Hangman in the reverse. I'm sorry, I just burped the most disgusting burp. I could not leave that in there. Anyway, with these two cards together, right, the Nine of Swords and the Hangman, I don't know about y'all, but this looks like ease to me. Okay, this looks like um, fear not. This looks like rest. Amen. This looks like moving forward after a season of pause, after a season of isolation, after a season of needing to gain the perspective. Kind of like how I was talking about earlier, when sometimes it's not a no, it's a maybe you just need to live a little bit more life. That's what this Hangman in the reverse is giving me. It was never a no, it was a not right now, because you needed to change your perspective on something. For some of y'all, also, I need to say this because they're like, don't forget this part either. For some of y'all, this Hangman reverse is a unwillingness and refusal to change. Okay, I'm going to see what comes out as we continue this, but But bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, first off, I love this deck, and I be going on side tangents. I love this deck. This is one of my very first decks that I bought for myself, and she still look pristine and crispy, don't she? Yes, she does. But we have the we have the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck to say that, like, I know this is going to sound so like cliche and so like woo woo, but these three cards together make me is giving off the energy of like you can have whatever you like. Why am I just so full of songs today? But you can have whatever it is that you want, right? I feel like once we get to something like the Ten of Pentacles, because again, we have to think about the fact that the Ten of Pentacles speaks of legacy, it speaks of generations, it speaks of solid foundations, right? It speaks of the closing and the simultaneous opening and starting of new cycles, right? So, whatever didn't work out before, amen, this ain't that. And I urge some of y'all, especially in this season, from my hoodoo boo boos, especially in this season, run some of them things back. Bend the block one more time on some of them things that you've been working on. Maybe you set it down. It was like, ain't the time, or it ain't working out. Or you've lived more life. Pick it back up. Bend the block again, okay? Because one thing about building anything that is tied to legacy or anything that is tied to a firm foundation, it's going to take a couple of tries. I was very much so joking, but also very much so serious earlier when I was talking about the oxtails and giving that example. Like, imagine if the person who created oxtails got the recipe wrong the first time. It was like, F it, I'm not doing this no more. Where would we be as a people? Okay? Whoever created that, I'm pretty sure they came back and tweaked it, and every time they made it, they maybe added something, took something away, cooked it longer, cooked it for a shorter amount of time. However they did it, they thought this. Well, first off, whoever you are, I hope you are living in the lap of luxury. Okay, but I'm pretty sure before they got to what the final recipe, and of course, our recipes for things like oxtail vary, but for the most part, for the base of it, for the base of the recipe, this is the recipe that millions of people use. You feel me? So, like, imagine if they wouldn't have kept going. Imagine if they would have just been like, yeah, no, I'm good. Okay, so, like, right now, I feel like whoever this collective girl, this collective is put in front of, right? I want you to understand that, like, again, sometimes a no is not a denial. Sometimes a no is a not yet. So I feel like I don't even want to say the veil is thin. Maybe the veil don't exist at this point. But for the sake of, we're gonna say the veil is thin, okay? In the month of October, we're heading into spooky season, we're heading into woo woo season, we're heading into the holiday season. And I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, especially, again, not to segregate anything or anything like that, but for my black folks, for my black woo woos, right? Do y'all ever notice that our spirits get a lot more active during this half of the year? The bird months, October, November, December, you know what I'm saying? And think of it in a way where it's like, what were we doing during these times of the months, right? Um, what what were what were the traditions that we were engaging in during the burn months, right? We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have any other celebration that your family may have celebrated during the second half of this year, right? But this is a time where we're all together. This is a time where we are sitting with grandma, sitting with grandpa, sitting with great auntie or auntie and uncle and cousins and all the and getting put on game. You feel me? Use this time just like that. Sit at your altar and have some conversations this month. One thing that I love to do is I love to go to my altar with a handy dandy notebook. Okay, on my blues clues and just write whatever comes to me. And I want to give y'all a quick little story time. A lot of the things that I've created started at that altar. A lot of the things that I created that popped my book started at that altar, right? Came to me in a dream, got it together at the altar. So this month, I said all that to say, this month, if there's things that you have worked on that maybe, like I said earlier, didn't pan out, excuse me, or didn't, or you may have not had the resources, whatever the situation is, maybe you needed a fresh perspective. Sit with it. Sit with it and ask your people to help you, because again, I am a firm believer, and a lot of us who are creating right now in 2025, we're trying to create things that are going to, and I don't, I'm not even going to say that because I was about to say, may, want to change the course of the world, and we feel like we can't do that, but we're actively doing it. You feel me? So y'all don't have to throw cards at me. I can hear and see. Okay. We have the Six of Pentacles and Judgment. Yes. I'm screaming. Okay, so first off, with the Judgment card here speaking to a wake up call, right? I don't know, people consider it Archangel Michael in this particular iteration of the tarot, but nonetheless, there's a horn being blown, okay? And I feel like with the Ace of Chalices or the Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck, this is the ultimate wake up call. This is the ultimate, like, turning point where there's not, I was about to say, you can't go back, but to be completely honest, there's nothing to go back to. If you've been paying attention, you may have seen, if you tapped into your own self awareness, that a lot of the structures that we've created up until this point, whether it be, societal structures or internal structures that we built for ourselves, all things come crumbling down, have come crumbling down, will continue to come crumbling down as we build these new foundations, right? Because remember, we were talking about the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck in terms of new foundation building, right? After the completion of a cycle. And it's giving like you can't unsee what you have seen, you can't undo what you have done, and now is the time in October to decide how you gonna go at it, how you gonna get her done, right? Because our next card is the Six of Pentacles, like I said, and the Six of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. I don't know why that scripture, I don't even actually know if it's a scripture. It was just said in church so many times. Because we swear to God that we swear things are scripture, and then you get older, you be like, that's not even in the Bible. I digress. But this, we're gonna say scripture that speaks of making your enemies your footstool. I know what the Six of Pentacles mean. That's what the card has said to me just now. Okay, so I'm going to go with it. But if you have been the giver, it's time for you to be the receiver. It's time for, especially with this Ace of Cups here, we know that aces are indicative of, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the imagery of this card. Because there's so many things that are speaking to endings and beginnings. Like right here, right on this chalice, on this cup, there's a skull, which to anybody would denote death, which we know in terms of divination speaks to transformation. It speaks to endings, right? Um, okay, one at a time. For some people, this is speaking to specifically the Six of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, is speaking to you pouring into yourself. I feel like if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to pull these things off, I don't know how I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and you felt like you were put on a pause with this hangman right here, um, It was because, and it is because, it is so crazy. As I'm looking at this picture on my wall in front of me, I don't want to take it down because it's so hard to hang up, but I'm gonna take it down. Um, Poured from a pot, right? Um, can we put it back up? Not y'all watching me struggle, but it's okay. But for some of y'all, this is you having to learn the lesson of you needing to pour into yourself. It's okay to do for others. It's okay to support other people, but make sure that you are your main priority. Make sure moving forward that you are pouring equal amounts, if not more, into your own cup, right? I tell people all the time, let folks get the overflow. Okay, that's like if you had a chalice sitting. I'm gonna use my water bottle. If you had a it's a chalice. If you had a chalice sitting in a cup, this is a cup, right? And there's water that's coming down from the chalice, the overflow, right? Say I fill this all the way to the top and it's just pouring out, overflowing. That's what you give other people. But what's in here is yours, right? And so if you look at your cup that is catching this extra water and look at your chalice and this has more water than this, we need to do something about that, right? Because why is it that, and that's another question I feel like it is very applicable for this divination. Why is it that we feel like it is okay to, or feel the need to, pour so much into other people and their dreams and their aspirations? But again, ain't nothing wrong with support. We need to support each other. But why is it that you can't give that same energy to yourself? Why can you see certain things for people, but you can't see the things that you want for yourself? Piss me off. Sorry. You feel me? So it's just like moving forward, like you need to be asking yourself the question, why not? Every time you, do I want to call it negative? Every time you speak a negative word about an idea that you have, or the next time you try to downplay what it is that you want to create, or tell yourself that you don't have what you need, or you can't do it, ask yourself, why not? That is literally what I have been asking myself all year when I, again, speaking from experience, speaking from having gone through these things. Anytime this year I wanted to start something or do something and started to talk myself out of it, I've reframed my language and I've asked myself, but why not? Why can't you do it? Why not you? Why not you? Oh, okay. Don't piss me off. Spirit, any more messages? What is that? All these child, look. I can't. Okay, so our next two cards out before we get a I know that card came out. Knew that wasn't what I was looking at. Anyway, before we get a, do I want to get a surrender card? I want to get a surrender card. Do I want to get an affirmation card? Why don't we get both? Anyway, okay. Y'all just saw my ADHD up close and personal. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords with the Magician, baby. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to waste this energy. Because, first off, the Magician with an ace, and not just any ace. We're talking about the Ace of Swords, okay? That the suit of communication, of what goes on up here are mental, right? A lot of people, when we think about communication or we think about swords, mercurial energy, we often talk about outward external communication. But what about the communication that you're having with yourself? Think about that this month. But also, we also know, like I said earlier, aces are indicative of the initiation of a thing. I'm gonna just let that sit on y'all spirit while I take a sip of water. And this is absolutely the best water. I say this every time I have this water. argue with your dehydrated ass mama. But aces are indicative of the initiation of things, right? The magician. I tell y'all all the time when it comes to this magician card, you have to direct the energy. You can't just put things out into the ether with no direction, right? And this is why we tell y'all, for example, when we tell y'all or we're talking about writing petitions, we tell y'all to be specific because we want you to direct the energy where it needs to go, right? In October, okay, because baby, bottom of the deck we got the Six of Wands. Okay, we got the Six of Wands. In October, direct the energy. Pick it up. Try it again. Do it over. But do it more intentionally this time. Do it without this nagging, probably overstimulated thought of, how am I going to do this? How am I going to accomplish this? How am I going to get this done? Have direction, yes. But in terms of, like the book said, if your dreams, I feel like I have, this is why I hate sticky lip gloss. Anyway, if your dreams and your aspirations don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. I'm going to say that again. If your dreams, your creativity, your aspirations do not scare you, you are not dreaming, thinking, or achieving big enough. I could use myself as an example, as per usual. This iteration of Foolish 3 that I'm writing, terrifying. Terrifying. Writing the first book didn't even scare me this bad. But I'm better as an author now, right? I am, this would put me 3 books in. I'm also not the person that I was when I wrote Foolish, the first book. When I wrote the first Foolish, I was going through my Saturn return. We are, 7 years post that, just about? You feel me? So, like, I'm a different person. And writing this book terrifies me because it requires a different version of me. A version that I'm still getting to know. But that doesn't mean that I have to cast that to the side and be like, oh, I'll get to that when I'm the person that I need to be. No, I'm going to get to it now while I am becoming. Like the book said, there is no end destination. We are constantly evolving. We are constantly becoming. Even once we transition from these physical bodies, we are still on a journey of becoming in spirit, right? So there's never a point where you should, in my eyes, unless you just hit a hard dead end, that you should ever stop trying to do anything. Why? Even if you have to wait a couple of years to come back to it, pick it up, try it again, and baby, 'tis the season. 'Tis the season. And then with this Ace of Swords, this Ace of Swords speaking to clarity, cutting through the right? It may look different to you. You may, it fell right on top of the Hangman reverse. So you may be seeing things totally different. You may have lived a little bit of life up until this point now, right? But whatever it is, baby, it's yours. What have I been telling y'all? I'm very shocked that I don't see the fool out here. But I am, I didn't even notice that. Underneath the Six of Wands, we have the Two of Swords. What you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You have the clarity right here. That's clarity. And you're also holding it in your hand. Okay. So what you gonna do about it? You ain't gotta tell me, per se. But what you gonna do about it though? Are you just gonna be like living a mediocre life because you think that that's what you're supposed to do? People almost make you feel like it's wrong to. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a specific deck, and I think it's behind here, and I don't want to move this right now, so we're just gonna make do with what we have. Oh no, I can reach it. I lied. Um, People make you feel like you dreaming of a bigger, more grandiose life is wrong because people have made us feel like because of capitalism, it's people aren't supposed to want things. I don't know what God you serve in my churchy voice, okay? But my dead folk, the God that I serve, wants me to have what's best for me. And what's best for me is whatever I want. And so we also have to think about the fact that like abundance and Ten of Pentacles look different for everybody. For some people, it could be a mansion sitting on top of a hill. For other people, it could be something as simple as being able to pay their bills and having money left over. That's enough for them. But I feel like whatever it looks like for you, you shouldn't be ashamed to want that, right? Don't piss, don't piss me off. Please, Jesus, don't piss me off. All right, we're going to get a surrender card because we're going to find out what you hold need to surrender to. And then we're going to get an affirmation card because I'm not going to ever, like, rip the band aid off and not, you know, give you some ointment, you know? So, Spirit, let's see what. If I can get the dirt open. Let's see what we need to surrender to in October. October. Alright, Spirit. What's the message? What do we need to surrender to as a creative collective in October? Okay, they're saying both. That's fine. I can't make this. I can't make this up. We have surrender your ego and surrender stubbornness. Surrender your ego says cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. We also have surrender stubbornness, which says if you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. Remember, I said for some of y'all that hangman in the reverse is an unwillingness to change. Get out your damn ego. Because let's keep it cute. We don't always know what's best. We don't. That's why we have dead folk. That's why we have spirit guides, spirits, and a spiritual court because they can see further than we can see. Stop being stubborn before you get your ass whooped. I'm just saying. Bottom of the deck, we have surrender to passion. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. Let it flow. I know that's not the word. Shut up. Let it flow. Okay. Y'all know I ain't got no damn sense. Let's get a affirmation card. For some of y'all might be seeing some dividends around Christmas. Just saying. Spirit, what? Okay. That's cute. We have the fumble. Okay? I feel like it's very interesting. We're just talking about feel the fire in your belly. Okay. It is normal to fumble the very things we prayed for and manifested. Most times, we don't even realize it was in our hands until we experience the grief of losing it. When a fumble happens, prepare yourself to pick that blessing right back up and learn from your mistakes. If the blessing has passed, be reassured it will come back around again, and this time you will be ready, stronger, and wiser. The plug is acknowledge the fumble aloud and take note of how you will handle your blessings differently. I always, one of the things, because child, I done fumbled many a blessing. And since then, that last fumble, I have started to make my prayer, make me a steward, a good steward of the things I'm asking for. Make, like, help me with the wisdom to nurture and to cultivate and to align with what it is that I'm asking my folks for, right? And since then, ain't fumble since. The affirmation is I create space for my mistakes and speak kindly to myself afterward. Okay? So, it's all in how you talk to yourself, collective. It's all in how you see you. Everything, one thing you gonna learn on this channel is everything comes back to you. This is why I say that, like, I don't speak to external experiences a lot when I am doing divination unless they are that important. When I'm divining for you guys, whether it be in a personal divination or whether it be here, I'm always speaking to the internal because that's where everything starts, right? So just keep in mind this month as you go through this month, it all starts with how you speak to yourself and over yourself, and that is going to determine how you move forward. That's going to determine whether you're able to see the fumble for what it is and pick it back up and do something with it. Because like I said, after 2025, you can no longer complain about not being where you want to be because you've had plenty of opportunity this year to get together, okay? This has been your creative divination for the month of October. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Leave me comments down below and let me know if it resonated with you. I will be back with the mid month, and you can always sit with me, book with me, have a convo with me by booking downstairs in the description. Please keep in mind that as of December 2025, I will no longer be doing private and personal divination. So if you would like to get one with me, now's the time to do it, okay? I hope you guys have an amazing October. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. Be great. Get bread. Stay all the way alive. And with everything, be intentional. Have the Hoodoo Heritage Month that you conjure. Peace.